An empty pipeline is killing your SaaS right now, just because when you are not having a lot of meetings, the first thing that happens is that your close rate drops. Let me explain. What is happening when you move from having 10 meetings a week to just 1 or 2 meetings a week, or say even to zero? The immediate thing is it is affecting your confidence, because it is one scenario when you are coming to these calls and you know that you have so many more opportunities lined up that you're not afraid to try out new things, to say something what you believe is true, and to just be there. However, when you only have couple calls on your calendar until the end of the month, and you know that each single next opportunity is worth so much and you just cannot lose it, then that's how you start shaking in these calls. Your confidence drops, you start panicking. As a result, the other person can feel that you're a hungry salesperson from a mile away, and this is what is ruining the sale. That's exactly why having so many opportunities lined up is very important, because when you know that you're getting on 5 more calls the same day, you then can handle them way more confidently. And you know that even if this one guy doesn't move forward with this, you are outcome independent, meaning that no matter how it turns out, it's not gonna affect how much food you'll have this month. I know that in many cases with startups, it is affecting it. However, you never want your prospects to see it from the other side of the screen. The second thing you cannot do when you have an empty calendar is planning, because you cannot plan weeks and months and years ahead as you really want to when you don't have calls scheduled. And this is why this is an urgent problem to fix, because how can you understand which channels you're expanding this quarter and next quarter, how you're gonna approach hiring process and all the other micro steps, if you cannot simply understand, okay, how many sales I'm gonna close this week, how many we're going to close this month, and from that how much revenue we'll be able to have to reinvest into other growth channels. That's why it's very hard to move somewhere unless you have weeks of calls lined up in your pipeline. Thirdly, if you are not busy getting on calls with your potential prospects, this means that if you are not sending thousands of emails, if you're not posting content, if you're not reaching out on LinkedIn, and if you're not doing all these activities, guess who is gonna fortunately and happily do it for you? Yes, the person who is in the same market as you are. And that's why it's so crucial to be investing efforts every single day, because when you see that this week you don't have opportunities lined up on the calendar, well, it doesn't mean that all the prospects are just chilling and doing nothing. No, they are getting their calendars scheduled. Well, no, because they are receiving meeting invitations from the guys serving the similar audience that you are. Next, when you have an empty calendar, you ruin relationships with your current customers. The way it happens is when you cannot get new revenue from outside, you start looking for different ways to get more revenue from the inside. And this is how you start reaching out to your happy customers who you understand you really value relationship with, and then start doing this false attempts of trying to get them to pay like a tiny bit more so that you can meet your KPIs for the month. And usually people don't like it, and sometimes you lose your best customers this way. And that's why you really often want to stick to this godfathered pricing model, where you keep the pricing same for people who you love working with and who joined early, as a way for you to thank them for the business. And by you ruining these relationships with people, you then put your business in a much more awful condition than it actually used to be, because not only now you need to solve the calendar and pipeline problem, but also you now need to be finding common language with your best customers who are now about to churn, because you decided that trying to upsell them an extra 20-40% thing is gonna save your business. In short term, it can help you say good things to your investors, but in the long run, that's not a sustainable strategy. Lastly, and from my point, most importantly, the thing which happens when you're not booking meetings on your calendar is that your team starts to panic. Because if you think that you're the only one who in your business sees that, oh, we're not meeting new customers, we're not onboarding new people, our user count is not growing, let me share some news. Your teammates also see that. And if you're thinking that everyone is bought into your charisma like Elon Musk or Alexander the Great, well, I'd love to believe so. However, the sad reality, and especially in IT market, things prove to show the different idea, and people actually start looking for jobs when they see that the company is not performing as it needs to be performing. And if you think, oh, basically in a couple months from now, we're gonna have this good month again, and you to yourself know that, okay, it's coming, but, well, do all of your employees know and believe it as much as you do? That's the question. And that's how these challenging times of companies not having more revenue coming from their pipeline is not only affecting the relationships with their existing customers and some other business areas, but also is impacting the team itself, because the dynamics change, the politics inside start to happen, people are not as friendly and welcoming to each other, then they put this on their customers, and this is how all of it, the machine you've spent years building, can turn into chaos over a course of couple weeks, which you really don't want to happen.